Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to a pretty exciting Bakugan review. Today we're doing something slightly different. We're going to be looking at all of the main Bakugan traps from Season 2 New Vestroya. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. Before this video begins, I want to encourage you all to go and support the channel by checking out the new merch store down below in the description. Clicking that link will take you to the merch store website where you can find all the different card bundles I have themed around the channel for sale. You'll see card bundles of packs of 1, 3, and 5. Any of these purchases gives you the chance to also potentially win the rare 1-of-1 foil card. So check these out below, and now let's get back to the video. The card for today's video is going to be Super Phantom, which I believe features Metal Fencer here. And it says, Bakugan at this battle with printed G-Power of 700 or more do not get their gate card attribute bonus. So this is probably a lot better for, honestly, probably like Gundalian Invaders, because I feel like in New Vestroya there are very few Bakugan that had 700 Gs or more. But regardless, this is what we're going to be using to open up the Bakugan. Alright, and in no particular order, we're going to first start off here with Subterra Baliton, which is Mira's Trap Bakugan. This one's very interesting. It looks pretty similar to what it does in the anime, besides the spikes and some coloring. I'll pull up pictures here in a second so that you can see. Let's first take a look at the Bakugan. Again, not very rollable, most traps aren't. If you don't know how traps work, you basically place them on a card with a Bakugan. They'll have attributes inside that you can use to change the attribute of your Bakugan to take another gate card bonus. I have videos on that if you'd like to see that. I'll leave a link to how to play with support pieces down below in the description. But yeah, so here is Baliton, and let's go ahead and pop him open. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, he gets a little stuck, but that's fine. So here's Baliton, and again, I'll pull up pictures so that you can see him. But here is his full look here. And very similar to the anime, like I just said, but he's missing a lot of green, and then just the darker colors that were never given to Subterra, unfortunately. So to talk about Baliton, you gotta talk about what he looks like in monster form, which is like a giant rhinoceros, which he does not reflect very much at all in ball form here. I guess maybe this one spike, sort of, but it's like a cross between a stegosaurus and a rhinoceros together. But here are the two different bonuses you can get. So you can either go Aquas down here or Pyrus right over here. But to close Baliton, what I do is the feet, and then all these different spike pieces kind of have to go down, and then you sort of just have to play with his head. Eventually they all sort of just lock in. And that is Subterra Baliton. Up next, we have a pretty rare one. These things go for quite a lot online now, but we have a Darkest Falcon Fly. And so I want to go ahead and spin this one around for you. Interesting shape, very, very just box-like. But really cool designs on the outside, but the real interesting stuff is when you get inside it. So we'll have to open them up here in a second. But honestly, no complaints except for a lack of paint. You can really see on the image here, I'll bring up, he's missing paint on the top here. So like where this is should be purple. But let's go ahead and pop Falcon Fly open. Ooh, boom. Yeah, huge Bakugan. He's got little manual parts right here, which are like, I guess, more feet or claws or antennas. I don't really know. Yeah, this is Falcon Fly, and again, I'll pull up pictures while I talk about him. So this is Ace's Trap Bakugan alongside Percival, who can actually ride him. We'll get on that here in a second. But this is Falcon Fly, and I mean, I think he looks like a fly. The wiki does not have a ton of information on the traps, unfortunately, particularly this one, other than like, here he is. It's a Baku Steel. Apparently there's a Baku Steel released version as well. But in terms of color scheme, all we're really missing is the red and green, which almost looks like Gundalian Invaders style. So I don't know if this was planned to be released for that or what, but nonetheless, super cool. And then again, like I mentioned, you can throw Percival on him. So we'll go ahead and pop him open. Haven't touched this Percival in quite a bit. But it's really cool because in the show, Percival can like fly on him. And I don't know if there's like a specific place you're supposed to put him or something, but probably put him on the head there. He kind of just grabs on it and goes like flies. You could probably even like close his feet and then just balance him like that, or even put a card down. But it's still really cool just to kind of have this interesting. But yeah, it's fun. I think that's the cool thing about the traps is they're meant to be compatible, and some of them you can kind of display like that. Like if I were to display this, I think I would have him sitting. But oftentimes you can't. But for Falcon Fly here, you have two options. You can either turn to Subterra, or you can turn to Chaos. So honestly, especially with Percival, being able to go Chaos, especially if you're fighting something Chaos, could end up being useful since it's a Darkest Bakugan. Let's go ahead and shut Falcon Fly up. So we're going to move his legs back up inside there, like so. And then this one, I honestly have a hard time closing. So we're going to try and just tuck him all in. So that goes in, and then the head goes in, and the head can close. And then you have these pieces of wing which flap in. And it's kind of hard to show because my light's not liking the black plastic, I guess. But this has to clip in just right. And honestly, you kind of have to play with it. It makes you work for it. But eventually it will go in. There we go, that's one piece. And then I got to get the other piece. And boom. And that is Darkest Falcon Fly. Up next is Ventus Hylash, which is Shun's trap Bakugan. I really like this Bakugan. It has so many different parts. Like I spent so long trying to find them all. But he's got a bunch of different manual parts we can actually go ahead and kind of open. So all these spikes and stuff will stick out when we place him down. And we're going to go ahead and do that actually, because I want to talk about him. Again, really similar in the anime, like similar design and all that, except we're missing a lot of the yellow and whites, which again seems more like Gundalian Invaders. Because like, it kind of almost looks like Hawktor a lot, like the color scheme. Oh, did you guys see the jump? Oh, that was so cool. I didn't know if it could do that or not. Wait, let's try and recreate that. Let's see if I can do that again. No, he doesn't even want to open. He kind of did it again. That's really cool. Okay, so a lot of spiky pieces, and then Hylash actually has like a secret horn under his head, which I'm not sure how I even found in the first place, but there it is. A little awkward with this curved piece right here. I almost wish that these spike pieces would come out more like they do in the show. I'll pull up a picture here, but it is what it is. The color scheme isn't bad. It does fit like what we know about Ventus Bakugan. But then Hylash, honestly, this trap for me wasn't very memorable. I honestly only remember Ingram and Master Ingram, and then Shadow Wing. And Hylash is sort of just in the background, almost as a forgotten character. But honestly, this thing looks cool. I really like it. I think it's got some really cool flair to it, and it was like the anime shows it as like being a big shield character, and I'll again be honest, I don't remember much of it, but the shield's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool defensive Bakugan able to, you know, kind of assist, which is what trap Bakugan are meant to do. On Hylash here, you have the option to change your Ventus Bakugan to Aquas or Pyrus. And I should also mention here that some of these are different, like the symbols you get can vary. So if you're looking at your Hylash and you're like, huh, or any of the traps in this, and you're like, huh, that's not the same attribute as I have. They're different. They can change just like G-Power. To close Hylash, we're going to shut these spikes right here. And make sure you tuck his little wing thing in, his little horn crest. I'm not sure what that is. But that's going to go in, and then the feet are going to go in like so. And then pretty much everything else just collapses in on itself like that, and we get our cylinder back. That was Ventus Hylash. This piece is also floppy, which is weird. Not sure how I feel about that. He's also got a 2 on his head. I don't know if that you can see that, but yeah, he's got like a plastic 2. Up next is one of my favorites. This is Pyrus Metal Fenter, Spectra's trap Bakugan. And this one, I can do a lot of talking about. So let's go ahead and pop him open. Oh, yeah, he looks cool. So right here, you can make your Pyrus Bakugan either Chaos or Ventus. Nothing on the other side, but yeah, Chaos Ventus is pretty good. Metal Fencer's got a lot of different parts, so we'll go ahead and pop all the different spikes out. He's got like feet pieces and stuff like that. So I think for a lot of people, Metal Fencer is a bit more memorable. I really love this yellow. Really love that, but he's a lot more memorable for people. Specifically because he can be mounted onto Helios, and I actually have my Viper Helios here, and we're going to do just that. So let's go ahead and get Helios ready. And so it's a little different. If you've seen my Subterra review of this guy, I've done something really similar, but it doesn't look exactly like it does in the show, but it's close enough. So Metal Fencer has a little tab underneath his head where you can actually stick him onto Helios. And honestly, the best way to do it is just like I'm doing here. It's not exactly anime accurate, but it's the best way I've found to comfortably fit him in there. And then just adjust him accordingly. And that's honestly kind of close. You know, you could mess with it a bunch of different ways. This is just a fast way. But there is specific ways you can kind of set him down on there. And I don't know, it's just cool that this was actually thought about. They're like, hey, you know, it's sort of like an early version of Battle Gear, in my opinion. But I don't know, it's kind of unique, and if displayed correctly, it could look cool. I just wish that there was more, you know, accuracy to it. Like these claws should kind of wrap around Helios and stuff. I'll pull up a picture of what it looks like in the show, because it's like sort of like armor on him. It's really cool. And then you can also do the same thing with Cyborg Helios. So I'll get my custom painted Cyborg Helios out, and we'll do the same thing for him. And so again, Helios has this little piece right here, little hole in the back that's used for Maxis and stuff like that. We'll go ahead and pop that in. Make sure all our different pieces are out. And this one kind of makes Helios stand up, which in my opinion is 10 times better. Yeah, check this out, guys. Boom. That looks really good. Like that angle is really, really, really well done. Oh, look at that. That looks so much better than Viper Helios, in my opinion. It makes Cyborg, like, in my opinion, Cyborg Helios was lacking just a little bit, and now it's like, oh yeah, okay, now he's not missing anything. Wow, it looks incredible. It'd be cool. I'm curious to see if anyone's custom painted a Metal Fencer to make it more anime accurate. I'm really digging this yellow. It's kind of hard to see in the video some, but the yellow looks good. It matches his horn and stuff. Yeah, that looks really cool. I'm so happy I got Metal Fencer in Pyrus just to display. Okay, but to close Metal Fencer, we're gonna shut all of his little like feet spike tab things right here. Put all those up, and then it's really just making sure his head stays in, locking that down, making sure this piece goes tucked back in, and then it's all the feet come together. Make sure you get all those in, and boom, back into the right form. Alright, up next is Baron's Trap Bakugan Chaos Piercian, also sometimes referred to in the anime as Guardian, which is the Japanese translated version. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but the wiki does not have a lot of information on some of these guys, and it is a little confusing. But some fun facts in the comments might be nice for any of these Bakugan, just because there's kind of not a lot of information. The one thing I will say right off the bat, and I'll pull up a picture, is there is a surprising lack of blue in this, which is unfortunate, because the blue in the show for the shields looked so good. But let's go ahead and pop him open. Boom. And here he is in all of his glory. And again, we've lost a lot of significant yellow. He can do this sort of like T-pose, like Gorham there, which is kind of funny. And then, you know, just he can move around a little bit. So I appreciate that they actually gave him some moment, like movement, like the ability to move is nice. And Piercian here actually has 3 different symbols. He's got an Aquas on one foot, a Pyrus on the other foot, and then down there is Darkus. So probably one of the most useful Bakugan in the game, just because he has so many different options to pick through. In the show, he is really strange looking. He's got a lot of different parts, really tall looking and clunky, almost like a golem of some kind, or a colossus. He reminds me of like a really deformed Titan from Attack on Titan. But Yeah, I mean, he's cool. Again, sort of like some of the other traps, very forgettable. Like, I don't remember a lot about him. I don't remember anything super significant. But let's go ahead and close him up. So he's a square. He's pretty easy. You just kind of fold his head back and shut that, and then his hands lock into place, and boom, you've got your cube. Ah, yes. Now we have Dan's Trap Bakugan Scorpion. I think most people are familiar with Scorpion here. It looks pretty similar to what it does in the show. I honestly can't complain. I think this one's probably one of the more show-accurate ones, at least on the outside. Let's go and pop him open and talk about him. So here is Scorpion. And as you can see, I think from the images I'll go ahead and pull up right off the bat, like we're missing some bright orange and some of the nice like white or silver he has in him, which kind of sucks. I did do a review on one of these guys, but it was a Deca, so kind of interesting fun fact there. I'll try and find that video. It's pretty old at this point, but here is Scorpion. And honestly, Scorpion wasn't featured that much. Like, he was featured in the beginning, and then for a while, Dan straight up did not use him. I feel like plot got in the way. But your Pyrus Bakugan can take Chaos, or it can take Darkus, which honestly might be good for Pyrus, because you never know. Yeah, other than that, he looks pretty cool. I mean, he's wide, sort of like Falcon Fly is. In the show, he does not look like what you expect him to look like. You'd think he would look similar to Stinglash or something, but no. No, he doesn't. He just kind of looks like a weird android robot. And let's go ahead and close him up. So do that. You just close these pieces. You like fold them in, and then they clasp in, and then he shuts himself up like so. And then we lock the tail in, and boom. I kind of wish he would attach to Drago like Metal Fencer does. That would have made him so much cooler. Alright, up next is Tripod Epsilon, Marucho's Trap Bakugan. This one, again, is very confused with Tripod Theta in the show, and there's even like a little tidbit on the wiki that says, like, between the translations, for whatever reason, they swapped them. Like, Marucho's Guardian Bakugan was Tripod Theta, and then they swapped it in the American version, I think, and then it was just all messed up. So now it's Tripod Epsilon. So this is Marucho's Guardian Bakugan. And honestly, this one again is one of the more anime accurate ones I'm happy with. Like, the outside looks good aside from like where these air holes is in case someone tries to eat it. It's pretty fairly accurate to the rest of the show. Like, he even got the little like cloud looking symbol there, which is really nice. And then all the different like crown or hand frog pieces, which is in line with Elephant a lot. Go ahead and pop it open here. Boom. Okay, took a second. And then you got a little wide frog dude. It's actually kind of hard to showcase him. But I do really like this one. Again, this one's got 3. I really like the different symbols on each side. So we've got Subterra, Darkus, and Pyrus to choose from. And then he's got his little happy little frog face. Again, you can just take which one you like. I do think it's cool that each of them are stylized. So Subterra here has got a smile. Darkus here has like a wide open mouth, which is not having a hard time focusing. And this one unfortunately has nothing but the clip, but you could imagine there's something there. I'll pull up a picture here so you can kind of take a look. It is a shame we did lose a lot of like the coloring, which I think would be interesting to see a custom colored one. Someone custom paint it to match the colors. In the show, you had Subterra, Chaos, and Aquas, which is kind of weird that we get 3 in this instead. Again, not really sure what the traps are doing. They're kind of everywhere. They're a bit of a mess. Honestly, one of my favorite designs, like design-wise. He's got all these different like pieces that can like pop up and move. But he is a little clunky to close. You kind of just, you know, lock him in, and then he's got these tiny little clips that got to connect to each other. So you just push them all in, and boom. That is Tripod Epsilon. And guys, that is the end of this episode. Let me know down in the comments below, which Trap Bakugan is your favorite? Do you like playing with Trap Bakugan? Do you not? Let me know down in the comments below. And is New Vestroia your favorite season? And with that, my name is Jesse, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.